Okay, hello guys. Welcome to my channel. Today I'm designing a broadband microwave absorber using HFSS. So HFSS stands for High Frequency Structure Simulator. So I'll be using this for structural design, and you can also use other software like CST. But I'll be taking this HFSS course as there are way too less resources available on the internet for designing using HFSS. So I feel that this could be a helpful video for those who are starting with the microwave absorber design or antenna design, and those who want to know about the HFSS can also watch this video so as to get an introduction how to use various commands in the HFSS. Okay, let us start. So I'm going to design a broadband microwave absorber using HFSS. So this is the structure. uh, this is the copper sheet of thickness TC given. I've mentioned all the dimensions, like the TC is 0.017 mm. For the dielectric substrate, I'm using the FR4 and with relative permittivity of 4.4 and the loss tangent of 0.02, and the thickness I've taken it to be 0.3 mm. So how you actually take the value of T1, TC or T-ink, like any value you're taking like 9 mm, 2.2 mm, will be based on many simulations. So you basically simulate with many values and the best optimized value you take as the output. So because our main goal is to get the broadband absorption, and we can get the broadband absorption by using the ink because it has other properties, so which you will read in the theory. So for choosing the dimension, there is no hard and fast rule, and we are basically mainly deciding on the simulations. So we actually do various simulations and we take the best simulated output, and we consider that dimension to be the correct one. Okay, so let us start. So this is the window which you will see when you first open the HFSS. So first go to the project, insert HFSS design. Okay, I may recommend you to first save this by pressing Ctrl S. Maybe save it anywhere like on the desktop. Save with project one name, save. Okay, so this is the HFSS outlet. So there are three axes: Z axis, Y axis, and X axis. I'll use the Z axis for the height. Like the height is there's a copper sheet above which there's a gap of air of T air of 4 mm. So this is my Z axis. So this one is my Z axis. This one is my, say, Y axis or X axis. So this can be anything, but the main point is this is the Z axis, and the length and width can be of maybe of Y axis or X axis. So okay, let us start. Okay, first draw the box. Go to draw box, left click it, press escape. Okay, I'm sorry. Go to the draw box by using the cursor and the left click. Okay, for the dimension purpose, first we have to assign the material. Basically I'm drawing a copper sheet with thickness TC, given as 0.017 mm. So click this box, go to create box, change the dimension. X size will be, our X size is A, which is given as 16 mm. So I'll be putting these values over here, like X size is A. It's saying about the length, so I'll put it as 16 mm. Then again the Y size is also A, because I'm taking length and breadth with respect to the X and Y axis. Z size will, obviously I have already told you that I'm taking this as the Z axis, so Z size will be TC. Okay, Z size will be TC, and TC is 0.017 mm as I've shown you. Okay, now the position. Okay, so position is with respect to the this axis, X, Y, and Z axis. We basically choose a single point. Suppose if we are choosing this point, so the length is A. If we are going to the towards the left, this point let me consider this as the starting point. So I'll start, say, suppose I'll start with minus A by 2 comma minus A by 2 comma, suppose say Z axis I'm taking 0. So I'll tell you why. So I'm getting this as the figure, because why I'm getting the symmetrical figure, because we have to consider single start point. So this point is 0 comma 0, so this point is 0 comma 0. If we are looking this point should be minus a by 2 comma minus a by 2. And what about the z axis? I'm keeping it as at z equals to 0 plane, so that's why I'm taking it as 0 mm. So for just keeping it as symmetrical for myself, I'm making it as easy to draw the other um, boxes. So I'm taking minus a by 2 comma minus a by 2 comma 0 mm. Okay, so now the second block is about, okay, first of all, let me assign a material to it. So go to the box one, go to the material. So by default it is vacuum. Go to the edit, search over here copper, double single click the copper, select OK. So now it has been assigned with the copper. So for you, just for your reference, name it as say copper down, or don't use space because it may throw error. So copper down, just for your convenience, we name the, does not change any properties. The properties change by assigning the material, not the name. Okay, so now, okay, everything is good. Now we have to create a air box with thickness of T air and the length and width the same as AMM, which is given as 16 mm, already assigned. So again, go to the box, draw a random box anywhere you can draw. So just because we'll assign with the dimension and the, okay, so by default it is vacuum. Go to the box one, say name it as say air box, just for your reference. Assign the material as air, search over here air, press OK. Okay, now it has been assigned with the air. Go to create box. Now we have to change the dimension. So x size is a, y size is a, and the z size is, I have already told you, t air. So t air is given as 4 mm. As you can see in the this, I've taken it as 4 mm. T air is 4 mm. Okay, so about the coordinate, like about the position, again it is minus a by 2. X and y axis will be oriented same because we are only changing the z direction. As I've already told you that this one is z axis and the length and width is associated with x and y axis. So we are only changing the position of z axis. So initially we have gone up to tc, like from 0 to tc I've already gone. So after tc I'm going again t air distance, which is the width of the air box. So I'll just write over here, it is after tc. So it is automatically assigned after tc. And okay, so just a minute, so it is minus a by 2, not a by 2. As I've already told you, we have to keep the x and y axis same. Well, it has been assigned. Okay, for your reference you can even change to see it as a air, it should be transparent. So we can actually change it. Go to the air box, go to the transparency, set the transparency as 1. Okay, so it will not change the property. Even you can make copper sheet as transparent. Just for your reference, you are taking air as transparent because it will be easy to differentiate between the copper and air. It will not change the properties. So again, so this is our air box. Now for the next step, we have to draw a FR4 substrate. So dielectric substrate of thickness T1, and the position, as I've already told you, the position will be TC plus T air. TC, as we have already come up the TC distance, again we are going above T air distance, then we are getting the FR4 substrate. That's why the Z axis position will now become TC plus T air, and X and Y axis position will be the same. As I have already told you, consider a single starting point. Like here I have considered minus a by 2 comma minus a by 2, and proceed every and make every block by using that position. Okay, so let me just draw that. Draw any box, say any random box. We'll assign it with the position, we'll assign it with the x size and y size. X size, it will again be a mm. Z size will be this time it's for the FR4 substrate. FR4 substrate of thickness T1 given as 0.3 mm. So let me just write it over here, T1 of thickness 0.3 mm. Press OK. Now we'll assign it with the, we'll assign it with first with the material. Okay, edit. So the thing is, if you search here FR4, you may get it over here, FR4 epoxy. So just press OK then. So sometimes while using the other materials, you may not able to actually get all the material. Like there is also a material known as FB4 of dielectric constant. I guess it has 3.2. So it is not available in the HFSS. So you can even add material in that case. Go to add material and you can actually assign the material. Just name it anything. Set the relative permittivity. Set the dielectric loss tangent and then just press OK. So you can assign your own material. So but here in this case, as it's already given as FR4 epoxy and we are using that FR4 substrate of permittivity, I've already told you, as 4.4, loss time is 0.02. So it's already actually defined in the HFSS, so we need not to worry about that. So just select FR4 epoxy, press OK. The material is assigned. Say, let me even change the color. We can even change the color for our reference. It will not change any material property. So let me, like, I've selected over here as yellow. So let me just select again this as yellow. So left click, go to create box, change the position as I've told you, this is minus a by 2, comma minus a by 2, comma TC plus TAR. Press enter and automatically it will be adjusted above the air box. As you can see, it's above the air box. Okay, now we are done with the FR4 substrate also. Now we have to design a ink. So the how is the ink dimension given as? So it is actually a B width and a B width, length and width is B, given as 9 mm, and the thickness of W1 mm. We'll see how we can make that. So first, let me again go to create box, create a random box anywhere. We'll assign it with the material, we'll assign it with the dimension, we'll assign it with the coordinates. So again, go to the box 2, assign it with the material, go to edit. Okay, just a minute. First of all, we'll go to the create box, we'll assign it with the size. So I've told you B is given as 9 mm, Y size as B, and Z size is T ink. Okay, so what was T ink value? Let me just check it out. T ink is given as 0.05 mm. So let me just write it over here. It has 0.05 mm. Okay, now we'll assign it with the coordinates. So go to the create box. We'll assign it with the position. Again the position. Now this time the position is with respect to minus b by 2. So why? I'll just let you know why I'm taking minus b by 2. Many of you may have understood this, but let me just write it first, then I'll explain why I'm taking minus b by 2. So the x and y axis position is minus b by 2, comma minus b by 2, and the z axis position, as you will understand that by default, the z axis position I've already told you, always TC plus TA, and we have even come up the FR4 distance, which is T1 thickness. So our z axis, our z axis will be TC plus TAR plus T1, which is the FR4 thickness. So this will be so as you can see, it is aligned. So the question is why I am taking minus b by 2 comma minus b by 2. So I've already told you, we have to consider the starting point. The its thickness is b, it's aligned with respect to the b, not with the a, because a thickness is this one, this one is the b thickness. So we are considering the starting point. Let me just select this as starting point. So if I'm taking this as the starting point, so this is obviously we are going minus b by 2 distance in the x-axis, minus b by 2 distance above the y-axis. So this point will obviously be minus b by 2 comma minus b by 2. I'm taking this as negative y-axis. Remember that I'm taking this as negative x-axis. That's why this point is minus b by 2 comma minus b by 2. So this one I'm taking as the starting point. So that's why I'm aligning it with respect to the starting point, and the z-axis is in this direction. That's why I'm taking TC plus TA plus T1. So this is this much above the copper sheet. So that's why I'm taking Z orientation like TC plus TA plus T1. Okay, so well, I'm almost designed with the block. So the thing left is we have to cut a section. The best part of this is to again design a ink which is of thickness B minus. So this total is b. This length will be b minus w1 minus w1. Okay, so I'll again design a box of same thing, of same, everything is same, only the length is different. That what I mean was, so exercise will be b minus w1 minus w1. So this will be the exercise, and w1 is given as 2.2 mm. So just let me just write it off, 2.2 mm. Okay, and it is y size is also b minus w1 minus w1. Z size is again T ink, it's not changed. T ink is T ink because we have to cut a slot. Again, the thickness should be the T ink only, it should not differ. And the position will be with respect to b minus w1 minus w1, not with respect to b, because the length and the width of the box is b minus w1 minus w1. So minus of b minus w1 minus w1 by 2 comma minus of b minus w1 minus w1 by 2 comma tc. So z axis will be the same, it will not differ, as it is tc plus ta plus t1, the thickness of fr4 substrate. So let me just press enter. As you can see, this has automatically come over here. Now for the changing the for your visualization, you can even change the orientation of this by pressing this as pressing the left click and just changing the orientation of the block. But then press escape, just come out of this command. Okay, now we have to cut a slot. So these both are ink, it's overlapping this. So we'll select the uh, this one box 2 and this is the box 3. So select the box 2 and press the control key, select the box 3 with the left click, then go to the subtract, press subtract. It will show you the blank parts as box 2 because you have selected it first. So you have to select from which you are subtracting as first, and then from which you have subtracted as the second. So box 2, box 3, then press OK. As you can see, a slot has cut out of thickness w1 again. So we have, because we have considered the width as w1, so this is the w1. Okay, go over here. Okay, you can for aligning this rectangular block within a frame, you can use control D, so you can actually see the whole box. Then again, just I'm showing you this. Okay, even I can change the color of copper sheet. Just for your reference, it will not change the property. Let me just select it as brown, looks somewhat like brown. Okay, the copper sheet. So ink is obviously a black color. Just for my reference, I'm considering it as black color. So this, okay, so the only thing left is to assign the ink material. So the box 2 is the ink, we have already cut the slot. So go to the box 2, go to the material, go to the edit, and as you will search the ink, there is no ink material available in the HFSS. So you have, as I've already told you, how to assign a material which is not in the HFSS. So go to the add material. So the ink property is given by the bulk conductivity. The conductivity which I'm using for this resistive ink is 664 Siemens per meter. That is, this resistive ink has the conductivity of 664 Siemens per meter. Relative permittivity, relative permeability, the loss tangent and the magnetic loss tangent are by default set. Then press OK, and okay, so the it is assigned. Okay, so this as material 1, go okay. So I've assigned it with the material. So okay, so this is my design. So this is my final design. So I'm done with the design. Now let me proceed with the simulation. So for the simulation, as you can see, we have to validate. In the validation, it's, as you can see, there's a cross in boundaries and excitation analysis setup, as we have not assigned with these two parameters. So for assigning, go to add solution setup, setup name, setup one says solution frequency. So we have to assign the solution frequencies, as we are making absorber between 1 to 20 gigahertz. We are mainly focusing on this range. So basically the solution frequency is taken approximately as in between them, that is 10 gigahertz. The maximum number of passes, we have to consider as more pass for the more accurate result. We are considering more passes. So let me just take it as 12. Then press OK. So that is only done to make the result more accurate. Then go to add frequency sweep. Okay, so before adding the frequency sweep, we have to assign the flocket ports for the simulation purpose. So for assigning the flocket port, there is a method. You have to first create a box. Just create a box. Assign it with the air. Assign it with the air. Okay, so this is the box 4. Let me even name this. So this is a air. This is a air box. This is the air box 1. Okay, so go to the create box. X size will again be AMM, Y size will again be AMM, Z size, let me just name the Z size as T air 1. Okay, so T air 1 I'm taking it as 80 mm. Okay, and the position will again be same, minus a by 2 comma minus a by 2. So this is the procedure of simulation. So this is position will be minus a by 2 comma minus a by 2 comma 0. Okay, so as you can see, it's aligned with respect to the main box. So as okay, so now I have to assign the flocket ports, as I've already told you. Anywhere click, right click, go to select faces, select one face, again right click, go to assign boundary, go to the master. We have to first assign the master and slave condition. Go to the U vector, select the new vector. First, I would recommend you to zoom it. So you can accurately, you have to select the edges. You have to create a vector. So for that, you have to accurately select the edges. So now, like I've already defined it, from one edge to other edge, and then press OK. Okay, similarly, select the adjacent face, right click, go to assign boundary, go to the master, undefined, new vector. Okay, again from one edge to the other edge. Carefully, by zooming it, I may recommend you to zoom it. So then press OK. Okay, we have assigned this as master 1 and this face as master 2. Rotate this with the help of rotate command. This face, as you can see, is just opposite to the master 2 face, which I have assigned it to this material. So go to, just press right click, go to assign boundary, go to slave. A master boundary is with respect to master 2. As you can see, we have to select the opposite master. So this is master 2. So just for my convenience, let me name it as slave 2. U vector, defined as new vector. The orientation, sorry, I'm sorry. Okay, so define the new vector again from one edge to the other edge. Press next, press finish. Okay, so this has been assigned with the slave 2 with respect to the master 2. Again rotate this, select this face, press right click, assign boundary, again slave. So this slave, let me name it as slave 1 because I'm taking it with respect to master 1, which is opposite to the slave 1. Again define a new vector from one edge to the other edge, then press next, press finish. Okay, then press Ctrl D, it will get oriented within a frame. Okay, so now I have to assign the flocket port. In the top, left click, right click, assign excitation, flocket port. Again there are two vectors, A direction, B direction. Go to the new vector. Again I may recommend you to zoom from one edge to the other edge. Okay, then go to the B direction, new vector. Okay, remember this new vector will be from this edge only, which from the edge which you have started for the A direction, from that edge only you have to start the vector for the B direction. So press the new vector. From this edge you have to start, go up to this edge. Okay, so you will get this type of vector. Okay, then press next, then press next. Okay, next, then effects refinement for TE and TM mode, press finish. Okay, well, okay, but press Ctrl D for alignment. Okay, so I've assigned it with the master, assigned with the slave, assigned it with the flocket port. So just to check whether I've assigned it correctly, go to the project one. Okay, over here, go to the project one, go to the HFSS design one, go to the boundaries, go to the master one. As you click the master one, it will show you this highlighted blue color as master one. Go to the slave one, you can see the opposite face as slave one because you have assigned it with that. Press the master 2, similarly the slave 2. So you have assigned it correctly, as you can see. For the flocket port excitation, go to flocket port 1. So you have assigned this as flocket port 1. So okay, verified. Okay, ready to go. Okay, so I've assigned it with the flocket port. I've assigned it with the flocket port. Sorry, I've assigned it with the master and slave condition. Okay, now I'm ready to add the frequency sweep. Go to add frequency sweep. I've already set up a solution setup. I've already done with the solution setup. So okay, so that's why it is showing it as here as setup 1. Press OK. Okay, so sweep type, let it be interpolating. Start from say 2 gigahertz, go up to say 17 gigahertz. Step size for accurate result, you have to select as small step size as possible. Display, as you can see, 2 gigahertz, 2.01 gigahertz. So this will calculate the value of S11 and the absorptivity at 1501 values ranging from 2 to 17 gigahertz with step size of 0.01. So like 2, 2.01, 2.02, ranging up to 17 gigahertz. Okay, okay, then okay, press OK. So I'm ready with the add frequency sweep. Like go to the validate. So let me just check whether I have done with all the validation checks or not. Okay, so it's ready to go. Close. Okay, so there's an option to analyze all. Press that, analyze all. So in general, it takes around 2 to 3 minutes depending upon your system RAM, and these all things. So basically, it takes 2 to 3 minutes to simulate. Okay, let be simulating. Okay, I'm done with the simulation. Okay, so it took around 5 minutes for mine. It depends upon your system, so do not worry about that. Okay, so for the results, go to the results, right click the result, go to create model solution data report, press rectangular plot. It will show you the S parameter as we have calculated these all four parameters S11 and S12 with respect to the flocket port. Okay, so S11 will give us the reflectivity, reflection coefficient is the S11. So okay, press the new report. Okay, as you can, okay, just cross this. So this is our S11. As you can see, it has a significant amount of wide bandwidth. So we are basically seeing this as minus 10 dB point. This is the minus 10 dB point, and we are looking below this for the bandwidth of the microwave absorber, or for any antenna you can we have to check below minus 10 dB for the bandwidth of the antenna, for bandwidth of the microwave absorber. Okay, then for plotting the absorptivity, go to the X5 plot 1, right click, uh, okay, just okay, go to the results, create model solution data report, rectangular plot, go to this parameter S11. Okay, make this as a magnitude, as you can even change the equation as 1 minus magnitude whole square, because that is the definition of absorptivity. It is 1 minus S11 square, so that's what I'm doing over here. So this is 1 minus S11 square. Okay, then press new report, close this. Now you can see this is our absorptivity, and this was only the desired figure which you needed, because we are getting approximately about 90% a huge bandwidth absorber. I'm getting about after 8 gigahertz, I'm getting 90% absorption, even more than 90% absorption. So so this was all about the broadband absorber. Okay, so this was all about the broadband microwave absorber using HFSS. So please do like, subscribe, and comment below of any recommendation or any video you want in the future, so I could basically help you by making more videos, so you can get a good concept in making micro absorber or designing a micro absorber in HFSS. Okay, so thank you.